You already know how to fix things most people avoid touching, but the moment you need someone else, something tightens before you even think. This isn't about independence, it's about what it costs you to be seen needing anything. You're standing in a kitchen at night, phone in your hand, screen half lit, a message typed, then deleted twice. Outside, a small appliance hums unevenly. You notice it, and you already start planning how to fix it tomorrow. You know someone could help. The thought appears for less than a second, then disappears. Your thumb rests over the call button without pressing it. Not because you're unsure what to say, because saying it would make the situation real in a different way. What you call independence is often something much more specific than that, and it shows up in moments like this, long before you notice it as a pattern. Stay with this for a moment. Don't rush the explanation, because the first place it appears is not in relationships. It appears in how you deal with simple problems when no one is watching. Here is the clean, audio-ready script for Block 1 with no editing notes or annotations. You're carrying something way too heavy, stumbling, but the thought of asking for help never even crosses your mind. When a problem pops up, your fingers instinctively open a browser to fix it yourself. Instead of opening your messages to ask anyone, you'll stay up until 3 a.m. digging through old forums, scrolling through endless threads, just to avoid making a 2-minute phone call tomorrow. Before you even check if you have the time or energy, the words, "I've got it," already fly out of your mouth. To you, competence isn't about big achievements. It's hidden in these small, quiet daily habits. Your brain has been programmed to believe that taking action creates safety much faster than depending on someone else. The cost? Everything around you automatically becomes your responsibility. There's a constant loop running in your head. I'll just handle it. Little by little, automatically. It's not that you think things through and then decide to do it all alone. It's that you always start there. The strange part is, this habit usually began long before you were actually good at solving anything. Here is the clean, audio-ready English script for Block 2 with no editing notes or annotations, optimized with precise pauses for the AI voice generator. You weren't born wanting to carry the whole world. This habit didn't start as a personality trait. It started as a solution. Think back to the times you actually reached out for help, only to be met with a delayed response, or complete silence. Or when you watched the stressed adults around you already drowning under their own heavy burdens. You saw that, and you quietly made a promise: never ask again. Your brain is incredibly sharp. It quickly noticed where personal effort produced results and where speaking up only created friction. The cost? Having a need became linked to guilt. It felt like an inconvenience to others. An unwritten rule formed in your head: this is easier if I do it myself. And guess what? It worked. It kept you safe. It protected you from disappointment. This self-reliance habit was locked in long before it ever became your identity. But the problem is, useful adaptations rarely stay in their original job. Here is the audio-ready English script for Block 3, including the markers and video editing cues in brackets, to help you sync your visuals easily. Over time, handling everything yourself stops being a choice. It becomes who you are. Now you're the person everyone calls when something goes wrong. You always know where things are, how to fix them. You have answers ready before they even finish explaining the problem. This repeated competence slowly defines how you see yourself. But the cost is heavy. Any tiny failure starts to feel deeply personal. When something goes wrong, you don't blame the circumstances, you blame yourself. A high-pressure question loops in your head: if I can't handle this, what is wrong with me? Day by day, your skills quietly turn into a cage. But now it's different. The truth is, you stopped solving normal problems a long time ago. You're stuck in a loop trying to prove your worth. And that's exactly why asking for help suddenly feels so much heavier than it. Look at this exact moment. Your thumb is hovering over the keyboard. The phone screen is glowing with a draft message asking for help. But you haven't pressed send. You delete it and rewrite it a second time. You tweak the words and rewrite it a third time. You stare at a contact name, delaying a phone call that would take 30 seconds to finish. The mechanism behind this? In that split second, your armor of competence completely vanishes, and your uncertainty becomes visible to someone else. The cost? You are wasting hours of energy just to avoid a discomfort that lasts for seconds. A familiar thought loops in your head. I should be able to figure this out. You freeze. That's the moment. The hardest part isn't that you actually need help. It's the feeling of being seen while needing it. Most people misunderstand this completely. Let's be completely honest about this. Someone walks up and offers to give you a hand. Instantly, you turn them down. The words, "No, it's fine," fly out before you even have a chance to think. Why do you do this? Your brain is protecting your identity the exact same way it protects your safety. The cost? Support from people around you is always right there, but it remains completely out of your reach. A stubborn line is locked in your head. I've got it covered. You think you do this out of high self-esteem? It's not pride. The harsh truth is, you trust other people, but you don't trust yourself without your armor of competence. And that realization exposes something much deeper inside. The truth is even more complicated. A deep part of you has come to believe that you are only valuable when you are useful. Being needed feels completely natural to you, but being supported, being taken care of, feels incredibly awkward. When someone tries to care for you, you don't feel relief. You feel an invisible tension. Your brain has started using usefulness as the only evidence of your worth. The cost? Rest begins to feel unearned, like a luxury you don't deserve. Whenever you slow down, a guilt-ridden question loops in your head. What am I actually contributing here? You trade your peace of mind just to feel validated. That's expensive. When usefulness becomes your only value, total exhaustion starts looking completely normal. And that creates a massive contradiction that most people never actually notice. Think about the last time a friend called you for help. You showed up immediately without a second thought. There was no resentment in your heart, no judgment. You never once thought they were bothering you. To you, their need for support was completely natural and deserved. But a strange thing is happening. You are operating on two completely different sets of rules. One set for the rest of the world, and a much harsher one just for yourself. The cost? Your relationships gradually become a one-way street. You give everything, but let no one in. When they ask, a thought immediately crosses your mind. They are not a burden. But are you? The standard you apply to yourself would feel incredibly cruel if you applied it to anyone else. Once you see that contradiction, something deep inside you shifts. Change doesn't start with a massive decision. It begins in very small moments when you learn to receive. It's letting someone else carry a part of the weight, allowing a problem to be shared instead of hidden away. In this moment, your world isn't breaking. Your identity is expanding. Needing support and losing your competence were never the same thing. A gentle thought starts to form in your head. Maybe those are two different things. You let go of your grip. Nothing collapses. The story inside you changes long before your behavior ever does. If you saw yourself in this video, leave a thought in the comments below. You don't have to carry this alone. You don't struggle with asking for help because you lack capability. You struggle because competence became the place where your sense of stability lives. Losing it, even briefly, doesn't feel like an inconvenience. It feels like losing your footing in a system you built to stay steady. You are the kind of person who became reliable before you learned how to be supported. Not the independent type, the one who adapted early and never updated the rule. You don't hesitate because you don't know what to say. You hesitate because saying it makes the need visible. Think of one recent moment you handled alone by default. Not the big ones, the small ones you didn't even label as decisions. What did you choose without noticing? If this pattern feels familiar in more than one place in your life, there's more to unpack in the next one. Some people don't avoid help. They avoid the version of themselves that needs it.